Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer. We're back in online action with Norsca, playing up against the Empire. My forces are led by Wulfrik the Wanderer here. He does have a Skin Wolf Werekin companion with the buff aura and nothing else. As well, we've got a familiar Bale Fiend with the Lore of Shadows. He is carrying Pit of Shades, Enfeebling Foe, and let's see if I can get a look at it. I believe also, yep, Melkoth's Mystifying Miasma. He does have the missile resistance buff as well, and the map-wide speed buff, which is very good for Norsca, because they're already a fast faction, so giving them that extra speed is definitely a good thing. You can see we've got two Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes out on this flank to help pressure my opponent's heavy cavalry. Two spears on each flank with two Marauders here in the center, backed up by Marauder Berserkers and the Brutes of the Hound. We do also have the Regiment of Renown Armored Skin Wolves, the Maws of Savagery, as well as Norscan Ice Wolves, and the Regiment of Renown Norscan Warhound, the Beasts of Tashnar with their anti-large bonus. Let's see, it's an anti-large bonus of 14, so fairly significant. They also have Frenzy. Good stuff. Let's see what else. I believe that's pretty much it for my build. For my opponent's build, he's got a front line of swordsmen and flagellants with the Sigmar Sons and the Tattersouls as well. For Reiksguard, he's got a couple spears on each flank with 3 handgunners, a general of the Empire, a light wizard on a Pegasus. Looks like he's carrying the Nets of Amatok and a scroll of something. I forget which one the red one is. Scroll of Power, so definitely looking to do some quick netting action. And so we'll kick things off. I'm going to be pressuring my opponent's flank here with the Marauders with throwing axes. This is exactly what I want, is for him to respond with this heavy cavalry. He's detaching this group, and he's also going to be flying his Lord and this Light Wizard over here. So getting them away from this main battle is very important. These handgunners will definitely shine against my forces if the Nets of Amatok are there to support, and the terror from the General of the Empire can be an issue for Norsca. So definitely better that I keep them at a distance as much as possible. You can see I'm detaching Wulfrik and his little goon squad here to go after them. My opponent's going to wisely pull away. However, these Reiksguard are chasing a little too close here. They're going to take some throwing axes to the face and start dropping unit models down to 43 already, having taken about 10% HP damage, maybe a little less, but we are going to be able to fairly well outmaneuver them. I am kind of up against the edge of the map here, so I have to be very careful in my maneuvering not to get caught out here, but I am able to just squeak by and not get caught by those Reiksguard too aggressively. So we didn't take any losses there, and they are down now to only 40 unit models. So you can see the General of the Empire diving in here, but he's going to take a ton of burst damage from those throwing axes. This is not really a cost-effective engagement for you, for an Empire player to take. I would recommend, if you're coming up against this as the Empire, you want to deal with it with the ranged units. Like, he's bringing these handgunners out here. That's a very good call. They are a little bit separated from the rest of these forces. You got to be careful not to get too separated. The Reiksguard are able to catch these Marauder Horsemen here once they finally get into their charge animation, but they're going to take some more axes in the side here and just continuing to take axes to the face as these Marauder Horsemen pull away. Their morale won't hold up though, and they are going to break, however. And this other Marauder Horseman is going to be pinned down by a net, and the General of the Empire and the Reiksguard will turn to face. The Reiksguard will take some throwing axes on the way in, lose a couple more unit models, and you can see they're down to now about a third to about a quarter of their HP, so very tough for those Reiksguard. That's pretty much almost a 1-to-1 trade, 2 units of Marauders for 1 Reiksguard. It's a little bit bad on my end, not quite cost effective, but this Marauder Horseman isn't completely gone. The other one did get routed off. This one isn't completely gone. I'm responding with my mobile goon squad here, but we are going to pull back towards the safety of our own lines, try and set up in a defensive position here, as my main line, I'm fairly confident, can administer a heavy beatdown on his main line. So we are going to get in here, and the Marauders, the regular Marauders up against Flagellants isn't going to be great, but we are dropping a Melkoth's Mystifying Miasma on these guys to help get in some extra damage. Spears being thrown in as the initial to blunt the charge, and look, the Reiksguard are going to charge directly into them, which is not great. We're going to pull this other unit of spears into the Reiksguard, other Reiksguard charging right into the Marauders, doing a ton of damage. Very good call. These Reiksguard here not doing quite as much, getting quite a bit of shock damage on those Marauders, but now the spears are coming in. They're going to be able to respond fairly well. These Brutes of the Hound are detached to deal with this Flagellant unit, and you can see because of the way it's kind of wrapped up here, they're not going to have a good time. They're going to get wrapped up in the flank, chopped in the back, get some synchronized decapitations and arm chopping and all sorts of horrible, horrible gore. the Flagellants will definitely suffer in that fight. You can see the Reiksguard, however, responding, getting a nice charge into the flank of the Brutes of the Hound, and Reiksguard will do very good against low armor infantry especially. They're a great unit all around. However, I probably would have rather have seen Knights of the Blazing Sun. I think they're a little bit better pick against Norsca because the Skin Wolves are so strong. You can see Skin Wolves here have trapped the Slight Wizard that charged foolishly onto the ground. The General of the Empire is going to come in and try and support. Hunter of Champions now, however, being dropped on him. He also is getting frostbitten down to only 9 speed, and these Maws of Savagery are in here, as well as Wulfrik the Wanderer and the Skin Wolf Werekin. They're putting a heavy beat down. This General of the Empire is going down very, very fast. The Light Wizard as well is going to be routed off. These Reiksguard are going to try and respond, but they're not going to have a good time against all this anti-large armor piercing. You can see in the mainline fight, it's fairly well actually going in my opponent's favor. The Sigmar Sons have been able to do fairly well. However, we're breaking this flank. These these Flagellants have responded, tying up a lot of my units here, but they're going to get beat down in a big hurry by these the Brutes of the Hound and these other units here, just a bit outnumbered. We are going to pull through with these Beasts of Tashnar and try and get on these handgunners. These two units have rallied here after having been routed earlier, and you can see the General of the Empire actually goes down here to this heavy goon squad, and now the Light Wizard as well has been routed off, so the Empire is starting to have some leadership problems, but balance power is tipping slightly in my favor. You can see the Enfeebling Foe, it looks like, was going down, or no, sorry, that was the Milk Cost Mystifying Miasma. I've been spamming it on those Reiksguard as much as possible, as well as dropping the Enfeebling Foe on the Sigmar Sons, since they have really great combat stats, trying to help my guys hold in there. You can see now a nice Pit of Shades going to be dropped here by the Familiar Balefiend, going to suck up a ton of these Flagellants, and the Sigmar Sons doing a ton of damage to the Unbreakable units. This is very, very nice for me. The Familiar Balefiend is in here. He's down to about half HP, but he's doing fairly well, sundering the armor of these Reiksguard, and yeah, he's going to be pulling now. He has an attack order on these Reiksguard, so he's going to be pulled over to this engagement as they go over here and attempt to put down these Skin Wolves. This is very much a futile engagement here. My opponent does have these handgunners lined up here, and they're going to be getting in some decent damage, taking down some of these Spearmen and other units. However, charging in the Reiksguard here is probably not a great idea with all the anti-large and the armor piercing. They're going to get beat down in a big hurry. Over here, the Flagellants continuing to hold out, and a bit of a desperate situation here as we're trying to get on these handgunners, but the Spearmen being shot down, these Marauders actually being routed off by handgunner fire. The Brutes of the Hound are getting very low. Thankfully, they're unbreakable. They're also being supported by one unit of Spearmen here, racking up a substantial number of kills against Flagellants. Very impressive. Over here, Net of Ammontok being dropped in, but the Light Wizard definitely shouldn't be down here in combat. I understand he's trying to take out the Balefiend, but the Balefiend is not going to go down easily. He has considerable amount of armor, armor sundering, armor piercing, weapon strength. Doesn't have great combat stats, but is a pretty potent caster, all things considered. Over here, we're getting on these handgunners now with the Norscan Ice Wolves, just chasing him down. Wulfrik's also coming around. Going to be trying to drop a Sea Fang on the rest of these units here. This unit of Spearmen is fairly fresh now, the reserve being pulled in, and we're going to get another Pit of Shades here, sucking up a bunch of these Flagellants. This one is non-overcast because the armor piercing doesn't really apply here. Just trying to finish off these unbreakable units and save my own Brutes of the Hound and everything. We're now going to get a counter charge here and bring in a lot of my units to try and finish the job here with these unbreakable Empire troops, and you can see the leadership is now starting to falter for the non-unbreakable troops. One unit of Reiksguard, make it 2, coming back from rout. They won't be able to do a whole lot here. My forces are getting fairly low. My infantry is well tattered. Pretty much only these 9 Brutes of the Hound here and the Spearmen for support. Otherwise, it's just the mobile goon squad here, but it is enough to shatter the rest of my opponent's forces. And only these unbreakable troops remain, and they'll get cut down in short order. So very well played to my opponent. I really like the pick of Reiksguard. I think Knights of the Blazing Sun are a little bit better in this matchup, just because they're better at dealing with the Skin Wolves and the Werekin and so on. But heavy shock cavalry is definitely potent against a low armor faction like the Greenskins, like Norsca, and like the Beastmen. So well played to my opponent. Definitely enjoyed that one. Let me know what you guys think. I definitely like the Familiar Balefiend with the Lore of Shadows. Pit of Shades is great. Enfeebling Foe is a great spell. The Withering I've also had some good success with in other battles. The Milk Cost Mystifying Miasma is very good against cavalry. Definitely a great pick. The Skin Wolf Werekin I think is a little bit too cheap for what he does. He's anti-large, armor piercing, regeneration, has that armor buff and missile resistance. For how cheap he is, honestly, he should probably be about the same price as a Gorbel. I mean, I think Gorbel's even more expensive than him, so maybe even 100 gold more expensive than Gorbel is probably where this guy should be. Right now, I think he's a little cheap for what he does. Wulfrik the Wanderer doing fairly well here. He has the potential to get beat down fairly hard against the Empire. Thankfully, we were able to catch my opponent in a disadvantageous engagement, and with that extra support and the Hunter of Champions and everything, just really put down that general very hard. For the Berserkers, this unit doing respectable, 84 kills, 134 there, very good. The anti-large goon squad here, as well as the Ice Wolves, getting a decent number of kills. The Spearmen, doing some help against the Reiksguard, not terribly effective, but the Marauder Horsemen as well, taking out that one unit of Reiksguard was pretty good. This unit of Reiksguard got 68 kills, and I believe that chevron was gained through the battle. I'm not sure what they got that from, but the other ones, 91 here, 78 here is decent. The handgunners probably not performing as they should have, just because there's not a lot of high armor targets. I would recommend maybe cheaping out and going with the Free Company Militia, just because they're a bit cheaper and you don't necessarily always need the armor piercing. Versus Norsca, Mammoths are a concern, and you do need armor piercing to deal with them to a degree. But Free Company Militia, I think, would be a better pick overall, just because they're a bit cheaper, they're a bit better in melee, and you don't necessarily always need the armor piercing. The Tattersouls getting 91 kills, fairly good. The Sigmar Sons held out for a long time, but only 39 kills. I'm a little surprised by that. I thought they would have gotten more, but overall, for my opponent, just not able to quite perform what he needed to, I think, with these Reiksguard. If he had Again, if he had cheaped out on these handgunners, then he could have had the money to upgrade these to Knights of the Blazing Sun, and I think then he would have had a much better engagement against those Skin Wolves, the Maws of Savagery, and the Skin Wolf Werekin, and so on. Probably would have been much more favorable. I don't know that he necessarily would have won, but it would have been better, I think. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed watching that. Empire versus Norsca is one of my favorite matchups. It is one where the Empire can, Empire probably has the best tools to deal with Norsca, arguably, but Norsca also has tools to deal with the Empire, so it's a very dynamic matchup. I'm really enjoying it. Hope you guys enjoyed watching it. If you're liking the content, do like the video and subscribe. It certainly helps the channel grow, and I do appreciate the support. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.